Ladies and gentlemen, one thing about America, the land of discrimination, they do the same thing when it comes down to employment. So if you commit a crime, once you get out of jail and you paid your debt to society, you should be able to become gainfully employed and get back on your feet. But in America, they use criminal records to justify even more discrimination. So now there's a whole group of men between the ages of 24 and 35 because they have a criminal record. They can't get jobs, but they are of working age. And all of the crimes are not, felonies. A lot of them are misdemeanors. Okay. But this country, that's all they do is try to find new ways to discriminate. So the labor shortage, of course, persists on and it's not getting any better. But there's a whole group of workers who are being overlooked, even though they could be part of the solution. Criminal records are keeping certain workers from finding good jobs. This is particularly true of men in their 30s. And we know who they are always jailing in this country, black men, because that's how you got it rigged up. And if your justice system was really doing good work, then we would not see exonerations every day. So we know you don't do good works. So, ladies and gentlemen, more than half of the group has a history of criminal conviction or arrest that keep them from becoming fully employed in the labor market. So, a study was done by a nonprofit research group, RAND Corporation, released Friday, found as of January, just over 1 million men between the ages of 24 and 35 were counted as unemployed, the biggest group of jobless men, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. By 35, some 64% of unemployed men had been arrested. About 46% had been convicted of a crime, according to the study. Nearly a third of American adults have been arrested at least once. As far as high level than comparable Western European countries. Well, it's high here because these folks, when prisons first started going up, they rigged up the whole system to justify putting black men primarily in there. And they haven't stopped doing that, by the way. Employers need to understand that one big reason they cannot find workers they need is too often they exclude those who had involvement with the criminal justice system, said Sean Bushway, the study lead author and a senior policy researcher at RAND. Most employers believe that more people with criminal histories will commit offenses again. But that's not the case, Bushway said. And the risk of reoffending drops dramatically as people spend more time free in the community without a new conviction. It's almost like everything these folks say is just not true. All right, so most people that get out of jail, the vast majority of them do not reoffend. Employers need to adopt a different approach to this issue. One complication is that the severity of the crime is not taken into consideration. If businesses draw the line at any criminal record, applicants arrested for a minor offense, such as possession of marijuana, get lumped in with applicants with more serious convictions, like a series of assaults, like Edward Cagney Matthews. Some convictions might disqualify a candidate from a certain job. For example, a person convicted of violent crimes might not be permitted to drive a school bus. But there are many Americans convicted of drug offenses concerning substances that have since been decriminalized in some states, yet their records still exist. Discriminating against people with criminal records isn't new. Yeah, because that's what America is. America is the land of discrimination. A recent study from the Census Bureau looked at unemployment and criminal histories around the time of the Great Recession found that workers with felony convictions were some 10% points less likely to be employed compared with peers without records. Workers released from prison were even less likely than their peers to find a job. Policy efforts like Ban the Box that stop companies from asking about criminal histories on applications don't really solve the problem either because it's easy to check records through publicly. Yeah, that's true. Through databases, according to RAND. The issue of finding workers has taken on more urgency in recent months as the pandemic has left America with nearly 11 million job openings and nowhere near that number of people to fill them. All right, so many workers have also decided to leave the force early, like people going into early retirement or hold out for a better working conditions or remain home to care for family members and avoid exposure. There are currently 58 unemployed workers for every 100 job openings, according to Zip Recruiter. Without a certain effort to reintegrate workers with criminal histories into the labor force, employers are losing out on a big pool of willing workers. Among unemployed men ages 30 to 38 in 2017, the majority had been arrested at least once, while nearly 40% had been convicted at least once, and more than 20% of the group had been imprisoned. On top of that comes racial disparities in America's criminal justice system. In the study group, it was 33% more common for Black men, both employed and unemployed, to have been arrested compared to white men at every age from 18 to 35. Right. And most of the arrests are bogus. And for that reason, it's always going to be different for Black men. I mean, there's a lot that they will arrest and then just let go. So, they're always trying to do you dirty around here. Hispanic men also had higher rates of arrest, conviction, and incarceration compared with white men. Higher rates of criminal histories paired with racism and discrimination in the labor market put these workers at a severe disadvantage. This is also notable because the number of jobs for men without college degrees has changed significantly since the mid 20th century, especially with the advent of globalization in the manufacturing industry. America's transition from manufacturing to a service economy has meant fewer well paid blue collar jobs. Government programs that focus on workplace training and building skills for the unemployed are missing the point in a big way, according to Bushway. The unemployment system almost never looks at the role that criminal history plays in keeping people out of the workforce, she said. No, and they never will. And even to this day, it's really bad out here as far as jobs are concerned. And these folks are still trying to discriminate every step of the way. So, you know, like I said, this will all change when there is a complete changing of the guard. And changing of the guard is not the Illuminati. The Illuminati are Gentiles. Why would America fall and then you put Gentiles back in there to run it? No. When it says the Gentile world will pass away, that means you're Illuminati too. They're not needed or desired. So, y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. Do you think now it will be easier for people with a criminal background to finally get employed, being that there's such a big labor shortage in America? You can tell me what you think in the comment section. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video.